Now, we feel absolutely blessed that more and more experienced human design readers agrees to share their experience, advices, ideas with our customers. And now today we have Chelsea, who agreed to answer a few questions that we get asked very often from our own customers. And Chelsea helped a lot of human design readers to start and enhance their businesses. And I think that's brilliant what you do. And thank you for being here today, Chelsea.
Thank you so much. Yeah, that's exactly what I do. I love to help women build and expand, so grow and scale their human design businesses. And I just have to say, part of my success in building my own human design business has been the fabulous Bodygraph chart. so, so thank you so much. I'm really excited to be here to kind of give back and share with you guys some really great tips and strategies and things that I teach my very own clients to get your businesses off the ground.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant. So I will start probably with my questions that I just got written for myself. And the very first question that I got is, what are the key initial steps someone should take when launching the human design business, especially if you are just out of the training and so probably you have a lack of confidence?
Yeah, great question. So, I think the first thing you want to do when you're thinking about building a business is run out and like build a website, and get your email list provider. And you want to start thinking about building all this back end stuff. But I'll tell you what, that's the absolute wrong way to start. If you want to get a really strong start, you want to start actually just going out there and doing your thing, right? So just hop on social media and start doing chart readings. Start small, practice sessions, beta sessions, right? Like, I know you're out there seeing all of these big name readers and big name entrepreneurs like Human Design, and they look all streamlined and their feeds look amazing. You're not going to start there, okay? Like, that is not where you're going to start. You're going to start with the nitty gritty in getting the training wheels off. Like right now, you have the training wheels on. So you got to get steady and you got to feel really comfortable in what you're doing. And the only way to do that is by practicing, right? Like, you're not going to learn how to ride the bike without getting on the bike. You can watch a million YouTube videos about riding bikes. You can read books about riding bikes, but you're not going to be able to actually learn how to ride the bike until you develop those muscles and all the stuff, right? So you got to get out there and start doing readings right away. Start with your friends, start with your family. If you don't feel quite comfortable charging yet, or you're not sure what to charge, just get started there. Then start doing like smaller discounted readings. So maybe $27 for 30 minutes, 60 minutes, something like that. Again, you got to get that sort of balance going, like when you're trying to learn how to ride a bike, you got to figure out how to get that balance. Once you start doing readings, and here's the magic of doing it this way. Once you start doing readings and people start telling you like, oh my gosh, have you been looking over my shoulder my whole life? Like, have you been watching me? Because like, they feel like you're just telling them exactly who they are and all these details and stuff like that. So that is what is going to give you the confidence to start going, okay, like, I am kicking butt at charging $27. I'm going to raise my price to $57, right? And then I'm going to raise my price to $97. And then I'm going to go to $197, because the more charts you read, the better you get at it. And you're never going to get great at reading charts unless you're actually practicing. When I first started chart reading, I was a baby at it, right? Like, I was on the wobbly bike, and all I really understood was like the centers and the profiles. So I would just kind of like read that. And then as I got better and understanding the gates and the channels and all the more nuanced stuff, right, my prices went up. I don't even do foundational chart readings anymore, but you'll gain that confidence over time by practicing. Okay, so resist the urge to feel like you got to go out and build a website and establish a YouTube channel and like do all this marketing stuff when you don't even have like a steady, clear chart reading practice yet. Okay, so do that first before you start thinking about the website and all of this stuff, because then you're going to build this beautiful website and then you're still going to be stuck in the same boat. We don't want that. We want you out of the boat and swimming. All right, does that help?
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking about being stuck, that actually goes to my next question. What are the main challenges, do you actually meeting when you're entering human design business, and how to navigate them?
So I'm sorry. So just
What are
challenges.
what are the main challenges when you actually just starting human design business and how to navigate them?
Yeah, my clients deal with this a lot. And by far, the number one challenge is overwhelm because they're trying to still learn more human design. Because as we know, like you're always a student, right? Like I've been doing this for many years now, and I still every day I'm wanting to learn more and getting better at what I do. So it's the overwhelm because you feel like I've got to get clients. I've got to, I just debunked this, but I've got to get a website. I got to get people in the door. I've got to get on Instagram. I've got to do this. I've got to do that. And so it's just this overwhelm, right? So the best thing you can do is do a brain dump where you're just going to get everything out of your head, exactly what it is that you need to do. And then you're going to start prioritizing it, right? Because you're not going to be able to do everything in a week. And I see this with my clients all the time. They have all the stuff that they think they need and it's jumbled around in their head and it's causing them to not be able to think clearly and to take action. So they just get stuck in this mental loop of I got to do this and I got to do that. I got to do this. I got to do that. Right? And raise your hand in the chat if that is you. So they get spinning around in circles. So just get it all out of your head onto paper, and then you can actually start prioritizing exactly what it is that you need to do. The first thing being talking to people, sharing what it is that you do, talking about it nonstop, right? And this is another challenge that I see a lot of my clients face, and that is they feel like they post one time on social media and then that's enough. I don't want to bug people, right? Well, let me tell you, people like only, I think it's something, they did the math, something like 0.02% of your following sees your posts. That's like hardly anything. I have like 5,000 friends on Facebook and like, I don't know, 10,000 followers. And I have a bunch of people on Instagram and I have a YouTube, like all this stuff. When I post, I know that only 40 of those people are going to see it, right? Like it's a ridiculously small number. So the other challenge is, again, needing to be seen, but not doing what it takes to be seen. So you got to be posting multiple times a day. You don't have to post the same thing like, I want to read your chart. I want to read your chart. I want to read your chart. Post it from different perspectives, of course. Like I'm so excited, that I get to be able to read charts and offer this thing, or, like, hey, I found something new out about the head center today, like talk about it in different perspectives, but talk about it constantly. Talk about it to where you feel like you are going to bug people, because if you're not at that level, you're not posting enough. So getting visible. So clearing up the overwhelm, actually doing what it takes to get visible, and that is out there taking action and talking nonstop about it, even if it makes you feel like you're a crazy person, right? And then I would say probably the third challenge is feeling like you need to have like a course, feeling like you need to have a specific like locked in offer, like feeling like it's this feeling that you need more, like what you have right now isn't enough. And so learning to take action, even though you feel like you don't have enough yet, whether that's enough knowledge, enough assets in your business, enough whatever, that not enoughness, right? And the best thing to do there is just go, I have what I need now, and I'm excited to learn more, right? And if you do EFT or tapping, you can just tap yourself on those acupressure points when you say that to really like lock it in somatically. I do that a lot with my clients as well. And just remind yourself that you have enough for right now, and you're excited to learn more, right? Because there's always going to be more, and you're never going to know you're never going to get to the point where you go, oh my God, I know everything I need to know, and so now I can start my business, right? It's never going to be like that. There's always going to be something. Like I've been doing online business for over a decade, and there's still things that I'm like, oh my gosh, I totally want to know how to do that, and I got to get back in the group with this, and I got to do this. Like that's never going to end. Right? So you just got to remind yourself, it's safe for me to go now. It's safe for me to jump into doing chart reading now. It's safe for me to do this. And I'm excited for what's next, or I'm excited for the more that I get to learn later. Does that make sense? Especially for you line ones and you closed ajnas out there. That message is for you. Stop waiting.
Okay, so what I took so far, so you should take a baby steps, list your priorities, and and basically just to go small, to start and embrace what you know so far and start from there, right? What are the 3 things that you would advise not to do, to avoid specifically when you're starting a human design business?
Yeah, so I think we kind of already touched on the main ones, but it's just reminding you to avoid waiting, because I see that all the time with my clients, all the time. They're waiting for this, they're waiting for that, they're waiting for that. So avoid waiting. Oh, I know another one. Avoid spreading yourself too thin. Okay. And this is speaking specifically to social media, in that you go, I need to be on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, here, there, YouTube, all these different places, and trying to nail each platform at the same time. So avoid going everywhere and just focus on one. And then avoid, and I already touched on this, but again, like, this is a huge one. This is a huge one. So I don't mind repeating myself. Do not get distracted with thinking that you need to build a website first. Don't do that. If you already have one, awesome. You can work with it, but don't feel like, okay, now I need a homepage. Now I need an offers page. Oh crap, I don't have any offers. So now I got to come up with offers. And then, like, it just turns into this big swirling whatever. Put that on the shelf, start reading charts, make some money there, and then do that.
Okay, so speaking about social media, let's just say I finished human design courses and I have no social media. Let's just say I'm old-fashioned lady, not liking social media, right? I don't have followers. I don't have existing clients. Which platform you would advise to start with, and how to actually attract clients, except from actually obvious family and friends, but how to attract that first outside clients to my social media platform?
Yeah. So I would say, if you're not on Instagram at all, but you are on Facebook and you have, maybe 200 friends on Facebook, I would start on Facebook and I would start working with what I have and then asking for referrals. Okay. Oh, I saw a great question come in. It said, but I built an awesome website so I could put the charts on it, right? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you have a website, awesome, use it for that, but don't get caught up in thinking that you need to build out. And so when I say website, what I'm not really talking about is like just a page. What I'm talking about is building the website that has the landing page and other things to do on the landing page. And then you have a page with your offers, and then you have a press page, and then you have this, and then you have that, like a whole website, right? Not just a web page, like not a sales page. Obviously, we need a sales page and something to send people to for the Bodygraph chart, right? So I just wanted to clarify that. A website, like with 10 different pages and all kinds of things going on. Okay, so if you have Facebook and you have a few people on there, right? Start there, because again, digging into your friends and family, these are going to be like a good starting point, because you can start with your friends and family and then, ask for referrals. Do you know of anybody else who would like a chart reading, stuff like this, right? Also, Facebook, you can take advantage of groups. Okay. So go into groups where people are talking about spiritual type stuff, look up human design posts, right? And answer questions, be of service. And what will happen is people will come to your Facebook profile, like, who is this person? They're very helpful. They're answering. They seem to know what they're talking about with human design, right? They'll come to your Facebook profile. So on your Facebook profile, you want to make sure that across the header, right, you have a nice banner that is directing them where you want to go. Like, for instance, mine says human design chart. Grab your free human design chart, right? And then when they click on that picture, it has the link to where they can go grab the chart. Okay. So you can do that. And also you can put it in your bio. So a link in bio to take them to the chart or wherever else, right? So you're kind of creating almost like a little mini funnel right there on your Facebook. Okay, so Facebook, you can go in other people's groups. You don't have to start one. I definitely don't recommend starting one right off the bat, because growing a Facebook group, unless you know what you're doing, then, that's something for later. That's something after you've started your business and after you've gotten some traction. Then you can think about starting your own Facebook group. But right now, there's so many already available, right? So like I said, just go in those groups and be helpful. And you can even say like, hey, yeah, I can, follow the group rules, of course, but you could say like, hey, I can message you some more information or something like that. Or you can reach out to people via message once you've gotten that conversation going. And then the rest of the people may come to your profile and check you out because you're so helpful, because you're in there answering questions, right? On top of being able to work with your existing friends and family, and they can start referring people to you. And so you just start growing that way. So I would recommend starting there if you have people on Facebook. If you don't really have any Facebook at all, Then I would say Instagram. Instagram is the second biggest social media, right? And the reason why I'm not saying TikTok is really hot right now, but I feel like there's a bigger learning curve with making TikToks. However, if TikTok is your jam, you could absolutely start there. One thing, the key differences between the three, Facebook, think, is more like text posts, more information. Instagram is more photo based, and TikTok is video based. So if that helps you kind of decide which one you're more aligned to, if you love being on video, TikTok may be your jam. But I'm going to go back to talking about Instagram, because I feel like Instagram is a great way for people to be able to find you a little bit more easier than Facebook. So on Instagram, you are going to put a nice graphic. Now here is the one thing with Instagram. You do have to have nice graphics, okay? I'm not going to lie. You can't just throw up like any old graphic, because people will not be attracted to that. And I know the big thing on Instagram is like, people can find you through hashtags. Yes, that is 100% true. But if the graphic that is showing up in that hashtag search that you have is yucky, people aren't going to click on it. They're not going to be interested. So you have to have a really great graphic, right? And so I recommend that you figure that piece out. If you don't have a way to get really nice looking graphics that are branded, do Facebook or do TikTok, okay? So on Instagram, the cool thing, again, is hashtags and also just SEO. Like, people can search for keywords in the search bar, and your post could potentially be shown to them. The key with the hashtags is using smaller hashtags. So when you are looking for hashtags to use, don't just, and here's another big mistake that people make on Instagram. They just go, ooh, hashtag human design, ooh, hashtag chart reader, ooh, hashtag this, hashtag that. And those are highly competitive hashtags. So the likelihood of somebody finding you through one of those hashtags is very, very difficult, because so many millions of other accounts are showing up there that have the big followings, that have all the engagement. So their post is going to be shown, right? So the key is to use lesser known hashtags. So you've got to really do your research. You want to find hashtags that have anywhere from 5,000 to maybe 100,000. And that's kind of the high end, maybe even 3,000 to like 50,000 uses. Okay. That way it's a smaller bunch of people, and you're more likely to be found using those hashtags. Okay. Another thing with Instagram too, and this is a huge mistake that I see, and my clients do this all the time. They come to me and they're like, why isn't Instagram working? And I'm like, well, what do you do? Well, I do all the things. I have a great graphic. I post it. I have a great caption. And then I do all my research and I put all the perfect hashtags, and it's great. And I don't know, I'm just not getting traction. I'm like, well, are you talking to anybody? Are you commenting on anybody else's things? Are you interacting with other people? And they're like, no. So unfortunately, Instagram is not a place where you can just throw up a post and walk away unless you already have a huge engaged following. But when you're starting from scratch, you cannot do that. So you have to actually spend half of your Instagram time actually liking other people's things, commenting on other people's things, following other people, engaging with them, okay? And also make sure, and you got to track this stuff, right? And you're running a business. This is no longer just Instagram for fun. This is Instagram for business. You got to track this stuff, and you got to look and say, oh, look, I followed this person and commented on their stuff. Write down all the names, then go back a week later. Are they following you back? Are they interacting with you back? If no, remove them as a follower. Okay, you don't want to have a bunch of followers that aren't engaging. That's not going to do anything. And I'd rather have 10 highly engaged followers than 100 who do nothing, right? And then also keep your followers list clean. So you want to go through and you want to look at people who are following you. There's so many spam accounts right now. And you can tell the spam accounts, because you'll go there and they'll have like maybe 20 followers, but they'll be following like 2,000 people. And usually their name ends in numbers and they have like a weird name. So just remove those as followers, because again, they're not going to engage. And so, this is why you see people that have 10,000 followers and like no engagement, because a lot of them are spam followers and stuff like that. And it's not necessarily that you bought followers, but they will just follow you anyways. So you have to be really aware of that. So just remembering that when you're getting on social media, it's not enough to just throw your stuff up there and run. You have to interact. You have to participate in the social media. right? Because the more you participate, the more people are coming back, and the more when they see you in their newsfeed, they're like, oh, that's so-and-so who's always commenting on my stuff, right? Let me comment on her, right? It's a very like reciprocal energy on these platforms. So you have to be giving, you have to be commenting, you have to be engaging yourself. And, you know, there's lots of other things that you can do too. You can reach out when somebody follows you and
Okay, Chelsea. Chelsea just disconnected. It is.
Let's wait for a little second and
Let's see if
to
she
see if
can.
she's
Yeah.
in joiner. If you can
Oh,
say,
hey,
she's back.
yeah, you're back. Yay.
sorry about that. It was probably my end. I live off grid, you guys. So Wi-Fi out here is I live off grid in the middle of the desert. So sometimes my technology doesn't cooperate. So I apologize for that.
That's
but
okay.
anyways, so yeah, so I think what I was saying is just that it's reciprocal. You have to, I was talking about private messages. So you can always welcome people, but make sure it's a genuine welcome. Like, hey, thank you so much for following me. I see you're all about this. Here's what I'm doing, blah, blah, blah. Just carry on like a natural conversation. Don't do one of these like spammy welcomes. I see this all the time, drives me absolutely nuts. And I know it drives other people nuts too. So just be genuine and reciprocal, right? And this takes time. And that's, you know, again, we have to approach it like I'm running a business. I need to do these things. It's not, you know, we're not just using social media for play and fun anymore. Like this is part of our business.
Yeah, okay. So speaking about hashtags, I just recently seen the video as well with quite a good advice. Actually, the hashtags also should include the problem that you're actually solving. So if your audience is, let's just say, single mothers, so the hashtags should also link to the audience. Is that true?
Yeah, you just want to think about what are they searching for? Right?
Yeah.
Like if your ideal audience is a single mother and they would be searching for, you know, single mother, single mom or whatever, then yeah, absolutely. That's what you just want to make sure that whatever it is that you're using is what they are searching for. So it doesn't really like matter, like I said, like these bigger hashtags and stuff, like it doesn't really matter so much if the hashtag reflects the content exactly, but if it does solve the problem, like I said, like it's what they're searching for, not what you want to put on it as a title, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Okay, so you basically covered my next question about Instagram. Apart from graphics, hashtags, and all the visual things, let's just say on Instagram or any social media, what are let's just say, what are the three things that makes you to stand out of the rest of the crowd?
Yeah, absolutely. So making sure that in your name, in the name field, you can put something else. So definitely include human design in there. So when people are searching for human design, you may come up. So let's say mine would say Chelsie Kenyon, human design. Chelsea, or if your name's shorter, you might even be able to do human design educator, human design, you know, if you really want to be pulled up in search, if somebody's looking for a chart reader, you could say Chelsie Kenyon chart reader, something like that. Then in the bio, you also want to make sure that you are like when somebody comes to your Instagram bio, they should immediately feel like, oh my gosh, like this is me. She's describing me, or this is exactly what I need, right? So you want to make sure in that little blurb at the top, it's very limited in characters, right? That you are really, really specific on who you help. So if you say something really vague, like, I help women understand themselves better through human design, like everybody and their brother can say that, right? Like that doesn't help anybody. That doesn't help you stand out, right? So you got to get more clear. What kind of women or what kind of people, what kind of problems are they having? And beyond like understanding yourself, how, what, where, like more detailed. So you could say something like, I love to help young moms with toddlers rediscover who they are as a mom, right? So now we're getting a little bit more specific. And now when somebody sees that, they're going to go, oh, that's me. I follow, right? And then of course, you want to make sure that your lovely free human design chart, if it's connected to to getting them on your email list, right? So you want to have your human design chart linked in your bio. So that's another way that's going to help you stand out, because a lot of people are sending people to, you know, my Bodygraph and to Jovian Archive and these different places. So you can really stand out and be seen as an authority if you have your own chart, right? Like if you have your own chart, that absolutely establishes you above the rest. So make sure that that's right at the top so they can click on it and go get their chart from you.
Okay. The last question that I have, and probably the most question that you actually get asked by customers, let's just say I'm starting the business and I want all the tools and that I use, your subscriptions that I pay for, to pay back for me as quick as possible. So how can I get that paid back as quick as possible? Apart from, would you advise to start? I mean, you all answered already. Probably start with your family and probably charge a small charge.
Yeah,
That would help.
And I think too, like so many entrepreneurs when they're first getting started, they overcomplicate this. But honestly, if you're looking at, let's say, the Human Design Bodygraph subscription, is it still $50 a month, or it's somewhere around there? All you would need to do is 2 $27 readings. Easy. Like if you start breaking down the subscription costs to what you would need to do, absolutely easy. Now, if you want to go a little bit next level, right? Like I'm here to really share for people who are literally just starting, right? But if you feel like, okay, I've kind of got some of this stuff down, then I would recommend creating a report in the software, creating a report, because you do that one time and then that can sort of like help you pay for your subscriptions because it's not taking any additional time beyond it was to create it, right? So you can create, let's say you create a $37 report, right? $37 report. And let's say your subscriptions for all the things that you have are, let's say $300 a month, right? So you would need to sell 10 or 11 reports every month, and that would pay for it, right? Now, the difference between chart readings and reports, the chart reading, first of all, it's going to take your time, okay? So you can only do so many chart readings every month. And if it's a busy month or kids are sick or things are going on, sometimes that can be even less time. So the reports come in handy when you don't have the time, and obviously sell both, right? Do chart readings and reports, but the reports are nice because they don't take any additional time. Now, the con with the report is that, you can only customize it so far, right? And it's not a holistic answer to things. Like if I look at somebody's chart, I see the whole thing and I can read all of it together. When you're doing a report, you're looking at individual pieces, right? So just keep that in mind. But you can absolutely utilize both in your business. So I would just recommend thinking to yourself, okay, how many chart readings do I have to sell? How many reports do I have to sell to cover my expenses? And then just put the pedal to the metal and do it. Because again, that's the big problem, is that people aren't actually taking the action, right? They sit there and they get lost in the backside of their business. Oh, I got to do this. Oh, I got to do that. I'm going to look at numbers. Oh, I got to do that. And the overtraining too. Like, I got to go up on YouTube and look up this training and this. Oh, if only I could find the magic pill, right? If only I could find the one thing that I could learn that could project me to the top. It doesn't exist, right? You got to get in there and do the work. And this is part of like my big mission and vision in the world, is to get people to take action, is to get them moving. Because, you sit there and you like, and the thing is like, do the training, work a little bit on the website, like do this stuff, but don't get caught up in it. I mean, let me know, guys, in the chat. Do you guys do this? Do you get caught up in the back side of the business instead of the front side? The front side is where the money is really made, right? But most people stay stuck in the back side. They go, oh, I got to get this done. I got to get this done. I'm looking at this and I'm looking at that, and everything's done in the back and they're not in the front. So if that's something that I can really impress upon you guys today, get in the front of your business. Start talking, share what you've got, and also let that feedback come in so that you know what to create, right? I am an entrepreneur. I work with women entrepreneurs. So I have a lot of women asking me, what's in my chart? Like, how do I make money? What is the way that I can, what in my chart says what I should be doing, right? So after I answered that question a million times and did a bunch of chart readings on about it, I made a report, the profit report, right? That shows you exactly the pieces of your chart, and how you're here to make money. So when you are out there talking to people, you're going to get this. You're going to get these repetitive things that everybody wants to know. And that's your signal to make something to answer that question. And then that will sell like hotcakes, right? So I don't know that I would say, like, how would I tell somebody to, go recoup their costs in their business other than start taking action? Take everything that I've told you today, right? Everything that I've told you today and go do it. So I just saw a question come in, something about how do I get engagement? By talking to other people. Engagement is not something that you get, it's something you do. It's a two-way street, right? Unless you're an influencer, and this is what I think really screws people up in their head. They see the influencers that can just throw a post out there and run off, right? But you can't do that when you're first starting. You don't have the audience, you don't have the authority, you don't have, the people don't know you yet. So you have to go get known. And how do you get known? You get out on stage. And how do you get out on stage? Talk to people. Talk to people. Be in the comments. Be in the groups. Engage with other people. It's not a one-way street when you first start. You can build up to it being a one-way street later, but that's not where you're going to start at. Does that make sense?
Brilliant. Thank you for your answers. And speaking about reports, I mean, Bodygraph chart has quite a few templates for you to start with. So if you integrate the chart into your website, basically, we have professional type reading report template. We have our partners' current written reports for you to start with, so you can actually offer those on your website. That will create extra money for you while you actually getting that, as you said, that feedback from your customers, and then you write your own unique report that maybe you will sell for even more money. So great thing is that you definitely have something to start with your business when you're using Bodygraph chart. Great answers and great advices, Chelsie. So I would like actually to allow right now our attendees to ask questions directly to you. So Algis and Gitas, if you can help me to give a permission for people to unmute themselves, that would be great. So
yes, give me a second.
Yeah.
How can you help me? First, one by
Yeah.
one.
Hello. Okay. Done. Done.
Okay, give me a second. I'm doing as well. Thanks so much, Chelsie. That's was useful. It's very
It is
useful.
you don't need to do. I already allowed full R group.
Okay.
Oh,
yeah.
awesome. Okay. Okay. So as Viktorija said, if you have any questions, please unmute yourself, and here you go.
Yeah. I think we answered all the questions that have been asked in chat because you catch them very quickly. Do you have any questions, guys, for Chelsie or myself? So you can unmute yourself, or if you don't want to unmute yourself, you can still carry on using the chat.
I saw one come through about projectors.
Yeah.
So I know that's always a huge one with projectors because projectors feel like they've got to, wait for the invitation. So what I want to explain the energy is, like, imagine that you're watching a little kid play, right? And there's two different versions of this scene. In one, you're just watching the kid play and the kid's constantly like, look at me, look at what I'm doing. I'm over here, right? And after a while, if you've been around small children, after a while, it gets kind of irritating. It's like, okay, I get it. I see what you're doing. Just go play, right? But if you're just sitting there quietly watching a child who is so immersed in their own play, like you become drawn in to watching this child who is so just into their thing, right? And so for projectors, it's very much like this as well. If you're out there going big and like, look at me, look at my offers, look at what I'm doing, right? It's actually going to have the opposite effect that you want to have, and it's actually going to repel people. So you have to be so immersed in what you are doing that you're just like, I don't even care if anybody comes along. I'm so into what I'm doing. I'm so focused on what I'm doing that like, here I am, you know, here I am, here I'm shining, I'm doing my thing. I love it, right? And that's when you'll start becoming immensely attractive and magnetizing to people, because you're not like, look at me, right? So I saw another couple questions, and let me know if that helps, right? I know projectors like always are wondering like, how can I do this? How can I get, you know, because the whole waiting for the invitation, right? Oh, you know what? Something else that I want to share, and this is something that is my unique view. It may not fit in the typical human design world. I don't even know. But the way that I look at waiting for the invitation is to flip it to anticipation, because that's what waiting for the invitation is. That's what waiting is, right? You're anticipating something happening. That's all waiting is. So if you're waiting in line for a roller coaster, right? You're anticipating. You're like, oh, you're not sitting there passively waiting. You're actively anticipating. And when you can shift your energy from this like, I'm waiting, right? It's passive. I'm waiting for something to happen for me or to me, right? Instead, you're like, I'm anticipating. Now it's active energy. Now I'm like, I'm getting excited because something's coming. Maybe you don't know what it is, but something's coming. So I'm anticipating. Okay. So whenever you find yourself getting frustrated, like, I'm waiting, instead, flip it to, I'm anticipating. I'm excited for what's coming. I don't know what it is yet, but I'm so excited that it's on its way. Right. So you flip it to anticipation. And I saw somebody else say, well, how am I supposed to get engagement? How am I supposed to do this? So here's what I'm going to say to you. And I mean, I'm just, you know, I'm a manifester. I'm a 2-4. So sometimes I just let it rip, and, you know, either it's going to land with you or it's going to piss you off. Either way, I don't know. That part's out of my control. But here's what I want to say to you. You are caught in the loop of going, how can I get engagement? How can I get people to look at me? How can I do this? How can I do that? Go out there and do it again and do it again until somebody looks at you. Like that's it. That's all there is to it. There's no more to it. There's no secret sauce. Do good graphics, do good captions. And if it's not great at the beginning, keep going anyways, because that's how you get better. And the better you get, the more people will pay attention to you, right? But you don't get to get better unless you're actually out there doing the thing. Okay, so don't get caught in this loop of like, how can I get engagement? How can I do this? And then every day you're waking up going, how do I get more engagement? How do I get more engagement? Let me look up on YouTube. Let me do more trainings. How do I get engagement? How do I get engagement? Nobody's looking at me. I'm a projector. How do I get engagement? You know, whatever the case is. And that's sucking so much of your brain power that you're not actually out there doing the things that need to be done. Okay, so there you go. I ripped the Band-Aid off. Hopefully that wasn't too painful.
I mean, Shelley just gave the really good quote. It says, "Good things come to those that waited, as long as they work like crazy while they waited." So, yeah, that's exactly the same thing what just Chelsea said. Work.
It's working so that when opportunity does come, you're prepared, right? Like when you came to me, Viktorija, and you were like, I see what you're doing. I love it. I want to have you on. Right? That's because of all the work that I did up to that point. The years that I've put in, the years making weird posts that probably didn't make sense, the years like not knowing what I'm doing and getting used to balancing, and you know, the years that I've put in got me here, right? But I didn't get here by staying behind the scenes and just messing around and going, how do I do this? How do I do this? I just went out there and did what, you know, I practiced. Right? I practiced, and now I'm really good at it. So you guys have to get out there and practice.
Okay. Yeah, I see the question, Katya, asking, where do you pull the data from? Joey and Archive is usually right. Genetic metric is not, for example. We're using bodygraphchart.com, Katya. I don't know if you are a subscriber of Bodygraphchart, where you can generate charts yourself, or you can embed the chart into your website. And we have many tools to help for your business. So that's Chelsea is also our customer in using bodygraphchart at her website, and uses our tools. So that's where we get the charts from. And we have quite a few questions about languages, different languages. So yes, we have quite a few default languages such as English, German, Spanish, I think Chinese and more. But we have a tool that allows you actually to translate all the properties and all the chart and all the reports to any language basically that you want, so that you can run this business in any country that you want. Any more questions? Bodygraphchart is very accurate in my experience. Yes, in my experience as well. I run quite a few checks and compared bodygraphchart with other platforms when the customers reported that there are differences, and what I found very often that it usually is the typo error, or that it's definitely I did not recognize the issues with our system, so I can stand my ground and say, yeah, our charts are definitely correct. What other questions do we have? Do you have more questions for us?
Somebody say something about how can they attract clients if they're a 4/6 generator? Was that it?
Yeah, that's the most recent question.
So as a generator, obviously you're going to be responding, right? So as you're responding to life, you're responding to what to create content about. So for you, it's just really about creating content. Also with that line 4, you have you have that influencer vibe. Okay, so you can absolutely use your content to influence people. And I'm just going to say this again, you have to go out there and do it and see what works. I love using human design for entrepreneurship, and I absolutely use it as a backbone and a foundation, but you also have to get out there and see what works, because you also have gates that, not every generator is going to have those same gates. In fact, when human design first was, downloaded to Raw as a system, there was no types, right? There was actually no types. Those came later. So when you think about how different we all are with our gates and channels and even the transits and all that kind of stuff, sometimes you really have to get out there and just practice and see what works, right? So if you get out there and you put some content out there, look at it, a month later and go, okay, what worked and what didn't? Let me do more of what worked. But you're not going to find out what works if you don't go out there and actually, throw some spaghetti against the wall, so to speak. So, I can tell you all day, like, okay, as a generator, you should post this kind of content and da-da-da-da-da, but also you've got to explore that a little bit on your own too. I will say also that generators typically do really well with conversational content. So anything that's going to start a question, that's going to start a conversation, that's going to be really good for generators. But again, that's not necessarily all generators. So you got to get out there and start practicing.
I see the great question from Victoria. She's asking how to overcome being a 2/4 profile with loads of open centers to actually show up.
That's me. I'm a 2/4 profile and I have loads of open centers.
So how do you do that?
Yeah.
How to show up?
Yeah. So, I mean, human design, we need to look at it as an empowering tool and not a label that disempowers us. So if you're looking at the 2 energy going, I'm a hermit, I need to go here and I need to do this. What I do is I tap into the part of the 2 energy that is, I'm naturally talented. I'm a natural genius. And so I just need to go out there and practice my genius. And that's what needs to happen. And then the 4 is very influential energy and very extroverted, right? So it's just, sometimes I feel like, yeah, I just want to be by myself, and other times I'm like, I want to go talk to people. So just honoring the energy when it's coming. If you don't feel like talking to people, great time to sell some reports, right? Because then you don't have to do any readings and talk to people. And then when you are feeling more boisterous, start some conversations, get out there and start talking to people. So the 2/4 energy is really just, balancing the need for your alone time to really be in your genius zone, and then getting out there and doing stuff. So for me, how it looks, and again, we have very different gates, right? And I'm sure we have different centers, even though I do have a lot of open centers, I'm sure they're different. And so, but what this looks like for me is I get deep in my genius zone working my business, and then I come up and I inform. I'm a manifester, so I inform. So then I kind of come up and I'm like, oh my gosh, you guys, I'm creating something amazing. I'm so excited. This is going to be great. It's going to fix your business. It's going to do this, blah, 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 right? So I come out, I inform, I influence, I do what I need to do, and then I go back. And then I'm like quiet behind my desk and nobody hears from me again for 24 hours, right? So I just balance the energy. And when I feel like doing something, I do it. And when I don't, I don't. So you do want to make sure that if you are in that 2 energy and you're just really feeling like hermiting, to respect that and honor it, right? Like you don't want to force yourself to go out and be extroverted, but also keep in mind like people calling you out, right? So if somebody's calling you out to play, so to speak, you know, get curious about that. Curiosity, I think, is helpful for everybody in general. Just get curious about it, right? Get curious about what kind of content is going to work. Get kind of curious about how this human design reading is going to go. Get curious about how many reports you can do, blah, 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 blah. Just get really curious about it, because the energy of curiosity is opening and expansive and will create opportunity.
Brilliant. Brilliant answers, Chelsea. Thank you so much. Do you have more questions, guys? I see no more questions coming up. Okay, so I'll use this opportunity probably just to wrap it up and keep it short and sweet. Thank you very much, Chelsea, for this great chat. I mean, all the advices that you gave. I'm just a new starter in human design, so I found those definitely helpful for myself. You know, I feel overwhelmed. Sorry?
Can I ask you a question?
100%, yeah, sure.
Where are you at in your business right now? Because you said that you want to start a business.
At zero.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so like I know you want to, you know, part of you wanting to get people on here, right, is so that you can get the tips and strategies to start your business. So what kind of business do you envision yourself starting?
Well, I don't know. I got so many ideas, you know, that's the thing. I'm scared to start. I'm a generator, so my head is full of, I'm exactly where you said that most people get stuck. I got those bees in my head, you know. Yeah. And then I'm freaking out to take that very first step and actually do something.
What is the first step for you? What is that first step for you?
Have no idea. That's the thing.
So how can you take this step if you don't even know what it is?
So I don't know, probably creating the website or maybe social media, because I'm not very active on social media.
Just
and
a
that's
web
why.
page. Yeah, you just need a web page. You don't need you just need a web
Yeah.
page. You don't need a site. Okay, so there we go. So we have the first thing you need to do is create a web page somewhere. Where are you going to create it at?
Where? Bodygraphchart, obviously.
Can you create web pages now on there? Sorry, I don't know what
you definitely can do. We have a business website. Yeah, you can create one page.
Yeah, so everybody out there, you don't need to go get your Kajabi yet. You don't need to go get your high level. You don't need to go get any of that stuff. You can do it all right in the freaking Bodygraph chart thing. Okay, so
yes,
now you're gonna create your chart, right?
Yeah, I can create my chart. I'm not super active on social media, but definitely have quite a few friends where I can actually start do my readings, just as you said. But first thing, what I take very seriously from this chart is that I definitely have to sit down and write down all my ideas and to sort out my priorities, because I do not have them in the very ordered way in my head.
Get them all out of your head and then number them in priority.
Yeah.
Once you have a numbered list in front of you, it will be so much easier to take action. 1,000,000 times easier. Now, do you have an open ajna or an open head?
Yeah.
Both?
Open, or both, yeah, open.
Okay, so the problem that you're going to run into is that you're going to feel like you don't have enough information, right? You're going to feel like you don't really know the things, and so I just want
that's happening constantly. Yes.
Mind that doesn't go away. I have an open head and an ajna too. And every day I wake up going, I need more information. Where's more information? I need more. Come on, right? And I have to now catch myself and go, whoa. Do I really need this, right? So one thing that you can do is as you are going through, because the thing is not to end all information. We need it, right? We need the information. But the key is discernment, because the brain says, the open head center says, I want it all, give it all to me, right? But you don't need it all. So what you're going to do is every time you see something exciting, distracting, whatever, I want you to put it in, I call it a bank. I call it an open head bank. And I have a chat with myself. I send the link to what I'm interested, whether it's a link to a book that I want to buy, a training that I want to sign up for, whatever. I put the link into that chat with myself, and I leave it there for 24 hours. If I come back in 24 hours and I look at it and I still want it, then I know it's a yes. 90% of the time, I'm like, oh, I don't need that. I could literally teach that in my sleep. I don't need that information. I don't really need that book, right? It's magic. So when you're looking at your list and you start getting distracted with other things, just put it in your bank so your brain knows that it's there, and just leave it there and come back to it later. So you don't get distracted while you're working your way through your list. But once you have your list, boom, now you have something to work on. You know, you can work through it and you have your first step, right? And that's like the big deal. Like, what am I supposed to do? I don't even know. I don't even have the first step, right? So now you know what to do.
Fantastic. So our customers just witnessed the live reading from Chelsie to myself, and I absolutely appreciate it. So thank you very much, guys. I think we can finish right now, end this webinar. Hopefully there will be many more to come. We might continue.
And anybody, feel free to reach out to me on social media, because I love to talk about this stuff. So I'd love to
absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. I want to say a huge thank you for everyone joining, and I want to say absolutely massive thank you for Chelsie for answering the questions, for personal advices that I received today. That was absolutely brilliant experience. And yes, I will reach out to you and we will see. Maybe we will do another webinar in the future. You can guys always send us suggestions, maybe a specific topic that you want us to discuss on the next webinar that that we can actually take into consideration. So you can send an email or ping me on a live chat, and we will think about it. Yes. So thank you so much, and have a great rest of the day. And bye bye. Bye everyone.
Bye.